Hello friends, and welcome back to the second part of my mixed media recommendations for beginners or those trying to build out their stash. If you have not recently watched my minimal mixed media series, this is sort of a culmination of the end of that. I'll have the playlist link down below in case you guys are interested in seeing the layouts I've created over the last few months using some of these wonderful mixed media products. But we just went over these recommendation items in the last video, so I'll have that link down below so you guys can check out the items. But today we're talking about the tools to utilize these items because it's not always easy to understand what you might want to do with the products you buy. So hopefully some of my recommendations for tools and supplies you might want will be helpful for you guys to utilize these products more efficiently. So to get started, I think one thing we often forget about when recommending these things is it can be a bit scary when you buy a product and you're not sure how to use it. And I think I was that way with modeling paste, but luckily I had experience with other products and knew what a palette knife was. This is something that is well loved, as you can see, because things are cemented onto it. But a palette knife comes in many shapes and sizes. I prefer this style. They do come in multi-packs typically at the big box stores. I like one with a longer flat edge and a smaller flat edge, because then I can get into nooks and crannies with my products. So for the most part, this is used with paste-like mediums or a gesso-like medium, but you can also use it with paints if you're like doing a silk screen. Obviously lots of different uses for it, but as you can see, mine is well loved. This is what you use to scrape items through a stencil, through anything you might imagine, just layering it onto the background to create nice strokes, whatever it may be. Now, I recently upgraded my palette knife. I still use this for a lot of different reasons, but I think when it comes to scrapbooking, there's usually something you want that's a little bit broader. And if you're not looking to invest in tools or you can't find this in your area, you know what'll work really well? An old gift card. Anything that's flat and can be flexible. So like, for example, if I don't have an old gift card, otherwise I would have brought one. But if you have like a really thick piece of cardboard and you can just have a long flat edge, you will be golden. So old gift cards, anything of the sorts, maybe those like retail rewards cards you get. But like I said, I recently upgraded to a Vicky Boutin texture tool, whatever she might call this. Now this is just a larger version. If you see, it has one long flat side, one short. It also has one medium, and then the bonus texture sides. So texture combs is something I've loved recently for, again, modeling paste, paints, gessos, etc. And it's just super fun to use. I really like this larger flat edge. It has become so handy for trying to put modeling paste through a large stencil or paint through a large stencil. So much easier than this little guy here, especially when you're putting gesso on a background. The wider the area here, the much faster it goes on. This I often missed and had gaps, but again, you don't necessarily need an actual tool for that. An old gift card, an old rewards card will work just fine. And I will try to link all of these tools down below so you guys can find the ones you're looking for, or just make sure you have them on your wish list for your birthday or whatever it may be. But these are the two tools I use a ton for modeling paste, gessos, sometimes paints, really depends, but a lot of times I use these two a ton, just a ton. And to go along with the pastes and the paints, etc., obviously a favorite that I have are stencils. You guys know I have a plethora of stencils in my stash. Not as crazy as some people, but I do own a ton of stencils, and they do come in a variety of sizes, and they come in a variety of places at the craft store. So I usually find stencils like these bigger ones in the home decor section and the acrylic paint section. You can find some really nice stencils, like this one's by the brand Plaid. They make a ton of stencils because they make paints. But you can totally put modeling paste through here, paint through here, a mist through here. And then there's other ones, like the ones made for scrapbooking collections. I'm sure some of you guys have seen these before, but like Echo Park puts these out, Carta Bella puts them out. Several other companies put them out with their different collections. So these ones, same material, just this plasticky material and just a small design through it. That's pretty much all a stencil is. So 6x6 is a really, really popular size, and I think a perfect size because I like to do select stenciling, not necessarily whole background stenciling. But if you want to get into full background stenciling, there are 12x12 stencils on the market, just not usually my style. Then there's these kind of stencils, which are not my favorite, but I did love this one the last time I used it. And this is a self-adhesive stencil. So it has a temporary adhesive on the back. And you have to be careful because if it's really sticky and you have really fragile paper, it might damage it. So make sure you're using high quality paper when you're using a self-adhesive stencil, but this makes sure that it does not move while you're applying product through it. So you stick this down your paper, put your paste through, paint, ink, whatever it may be, and then you peel it up and then it's good. It's great. You just wash it off and it's good to go and it stays sticky. I couldn't believe it. Super easy. Really love that. Now, what I will say is for these types of stencils, non-sticky stencils, you can always do your own. I know some people buy the spray adhesive that's repositionable, sprays the back of them, puts them on a backing sheet. Then you have sort of like the same thing as this Jelly Bean Soup one, repositionable in the sense that you stickified it yourself. Now, if that's not your cup of tea, I'm a washi tape gal. I put washi tape on the edges to hold it in place, put my paste through, then peel off the washi tape. So lots of different methods, but we're here to just talk about tools. So then as we move away from the pastes and the paints, well, we'll move to the paints and the sprays and the mists and the watercolor next, because again, a staple that we sometimes forget about that we would need, a paintbrush. Who would have thought? Now, my favorite type of paintbrush to use for paints, any of the types of paints, sprays and inks, all of these, is a 1-inch flat brush. This is my preferred size for a 12 by 12 layout. Now, if you work on a smaller scale, like a 6 by 8, 6 by 6, 8 by 8, you might want to do a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch, but I adore the look of a 1-inch stripe, those 1-inch paint strokes across the background, across whatever I happen to be painting on. And this is what's really nice about this size. And again, you could do 3/4 inch. If you already have something that's perfect, just a wide flat brush is ideal because those paint strokes. That's what I love. Again, this is all recommendations based off of my taste in mixed media. But what's also really nice is this is great for mixing paints. If you're mixing your modeling paste, if you're mixing your inks or your watercolors, really nice. If you have watercolors, you might want a couple different size brushes because you might be doing detail work. You never know what you're going to get into with watercolor, but I love a good flat brush, 1 inch to a 1/2 inch, all sorts of different projects and styles you can do with that. But these ones are my trusty dusty. Let's see, these are from a bulk set called Contemporary Crafts. You don't need super high quality brushes to get the job done. If your kids have brushes, they'll probably work if we're being honest. So you don't have to necessarily invest in a ton in tools. Like I said, you can use old gift cards to spread your gesso. You can use your kids' paintbrushes. As long as they're a soft tip brush and not a hard tip, you'll have success because you need it to retain water for watercolor and you need it to retain the ink if you're doing a spray or a mist background technique with a brush. Again, back to the inks, back to the paints. Something that I have a variety of these, but I thought I'd bring out the crafting one first. So this is called a mini mister. It's by Ranger. Now this came in a Ranger kit that I bought. I didn't buy this separately, but essentially it mists out water in a fine mist. A lot of people like to use these for the Tim Holtz distress ink backgrounds. I just like having a little tiny bottle of water on my desk to aid in watering my watercolors. So what I'll do is I'd mist one of the colors just so it's that color. Then I bring my brush in so I don't have too much excess water on my desk that can then spill. So I rely on these bottles a lot for watercolors, for mists and sprays, and for paints if I'm watering down the paint for like a splatter technique. So I have this mini mister one, probably expensive for what it is. Again, I got it in a kit, not as an individual item, but I'll have it linked down below. And I'll also have linked down below just normal miniature spray bottles. I don't know where mine are. I think I ended up using them for cleaning, but essentially they're about this size, not too big, holds a bit of water, but not too much. And again, I'm worried about the spill proofing idea of I have a nice paper, wonderful paper project on my desk and I have a huge cup of water to wash my brushes in off in the side. Not really my cup of tea, especially since I can knock it over. So something like a mini mister, any sort of lightly spraying water bottle works wonders for doing anything with these mixed media products. So always have my mini mister nearby just in case. So those are some of the tools that I utilize. A lot of times the tools are simply the paper towels, the Lawn Fawn stamp chamois, the Shazam, what are these called? ShamWows, having these ready to clean up all the excess water or whatever it may be that you're working with to wipe your hands off on. I try to avoid paper towels when I have to, or when I can, because it's obviously wasteful to use a paper towel when I can use a ShamWow, or faux ShamWow, if you will, from the dollar store to help clean up my messes. But those are some of the tools that I enjoy for these products. Again, lots of stencils and lots of fun products. What's nice is you can start one place, figure out your style, and then you can keep moving down that path if you enjoy it. So you might want to like just buy one brush or a small set of brushes, and then if you like it, then invest in some different brushes or some better brushes. Or you might want to invest in just using your gift card at first, you know, your old gift card before you throw it away, and then invest in a texture comb if you like the idea of having these options of adding that texture to your modeling paste options. Stencils, same thing. If you know you're scrapbooking a specific thing over and over, getting a staple shape like a heart stencil like this one, or a polka dot stencil, or a star stencil, something that you can use over and over that you'll love. Again, lots of brands. It doesn't have to be a crafty brand, a scrapbooking brand for it to work. Any brand, they'll definitely be cheaper outside of the crafting industry if you go for like a paint brand instead. But lots of them out there, and lots of things to be tried out with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed these simple tools that you should have. Again, some of these are no-brainers, but other ones you might just think of differently now, because you don't need to go buy a palette knife if you already have an old gift card at your house, because that'll work just as well for your modeling paste and your paints and whatever else mixed media you might have. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And again, all the other videos will be linked down below in the playlist for the Minimal Mixed Media series. But this is my final video for it. And again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support with it. I know so many of you really enjoyed it. And again, I do hope to bring it back someday, because I want to make sure you guys keep getting inspired to use your mixed media. And it's, of course, a fun challenge for me. But I do really appreciate all of your support. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.